I went to private school at the reform school where my father and mother went there in 1911. So they married in 1910. And my wife and I were married at the same place, almost the same site where my mother and dad were when they went down there. They married in 1910, went to Hanover in 1911 to this reform school. My dad was a blacksmith instructor. My mother was a sewing instructor. Boys.
And you went to Armstrong High School?
Yeah, in Richmond.
Right. And this
I went to private school up to the 6th grade. 7th grade, I lived with Aunt Jenny.
Now the school, Armstrong High School, was a segregated school, right? It was
Oh
all
yeah,
black.
we had white principal and white assistant principal.
But
see, they felt that no black person could qualify as a teacher, you know, and promote the kind of education that they felt was necessary. But I went to private school at this reform school. We hired the parents of the children there. There were a number of families there at the reform school that had children, and they paid so much a month, you know, for teachers. See, and so that was located at the reform school. But then when I was 12, I went to Richmond, lived with Aunt Jenny Ballard T. Edwards. Ballard T. Edwards' daughter, and Ballard Edwards had 2 daughters and 3 or 4 sons. And my daughter just located one of them in New York.
really?
Yeah, and his name is Ballard T. Edwards, too.
Uh-huh.
I think he's a lawyer.
So the tradition continues.
Yeah, and he saw something on the internet that my daughter had put out. She was on the Supreme Court of Arkansas. Now that's an interesting situation, how these families got together, see. Now my son-in-law, Clifton Rolfe, was from Arkansas, and they met. He was valedictorian of his high school class in Pine Bluff, and he went to Michigan State on a football scholarship. See, and that's how he met my daughter. We were in Michigan at the time.
I saw a picture of you with your grandson, the football player.
Yeah, yeah.
He's huge. He's really big. He makes you look really tiny.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he really he's 6 feet 4, 3 or 4 or 5, and because I've shrunk a little. I'm not as tall as I used to be. I was 6 feet even, but now I'm 5'10". I'm shorter than my daughter Mary or Andre. I was in the last class that James Weldon Johnson had as a graduate student at Fisk in Nashville. I went to Lincoln University and got my baccalaureate degree, and then Fisk I got a master's. Fisk University. And Charles Johnson, I studied under Charles S. Johnson, who was a great sociologist.
Yes, I read that your major was sociology.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, why did you pick sociology?
Well, being born in a reform school, you know, I think I was leaning towards helping. Well, my brother and I started when we were just 10, 11 years old. We started what we called a little school there for boys at the reform school, you know. And I forgot the name of it, but anyway, it was kind of like a social work place. And so I you know, people said that anybody born in reform school would either end up very good or very bad. Most of my dad brothers thought I'd end up being very bad. See, maybe I was. My wife said occasionally I am, you know, pretty bad. But that happens. she wouldn't trade me for anybody. I wouldn't trade her for anybody else, I'm sure.